Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. Last week, I made a video about this woman named Emily King, who posts the most infuriating content where she speaks up on behalf of men because men are underappreciated and women are terrible. I actually was not meant to make a video about her. She just distracted me. The person I was meant to make a video about is this woman who goes by the Dadvocate. I had a bunch of people email me and comment on things telling me that I should make a video about this woman, and I understand why. She frustrates me so bad because, listen, okay, so the Dadvocate, basically, if you can't tell by the name, is the advocate for dads. Because women don't treat men right. We don't appreciate our partners enough. We don't appreciate the fathers of our children enough, and they deserve someone sticking up for them. So obviously this woman should be that person. And when people were telling me to make video about her, a lot of them were saying that, they agree with a lot of stuff that she says, but also a lot of it is really just not okay. And yeah, I can kind of see that in the sense that some of what she says, she is making valid points in, a lot of the time when it comes to men, there is an unfortunate amount of mistreatment of men that is normalized. But it also goes as far to the point where she takes this very far, in which she effectively just defends every single man. If there is a man who has done something, he is being defended. And she does this mainly through a series that she has, which is called Women-Splaining Men. And there are 126 videos on this playlist, and I watched most of them, and they all led me to very heavily rolling my eyes. And so I wanted to share some of this women-splaining men content. So basically, obviously, she's like, this is how to treat men in this situation. This is why you misunderstand men. Let me explain men to you, women, since you refuse to understand. And it's very frustrating and quite patronizing. So yeah, we're gonna watch some of her women-splaining men content. And if you enjoy this and would like to see more content like it, please do not forget to hit subscribe. Over 50% of you are regular viewers who are not subscribed, so that may be you. If you watch my videos a lot, you might think you are subscribed, but you actually aren't. So do check. I'm trying to hit 500k by the end of the year, and I appreciate it greatly. In general, just interacting with my videos, subscribing, commenting, liking, but especially subscribing really does help me out, and it helps push me into the algorithm a little bit because YouTube really likes to hold me back. So I really do appreciate every interaction you make with any of my videos. So yeah, thank you. And with that being said, let's get into the content, shall we?
Okay, I need to woman-splain the friend zone. Because I just watched a video where a woman said that the friend zone doesn't exist. And I've seen tons of videos from women who criticize any men who use the term as just being misogynistic pigs who only want one thing out of women.
Interrupting you right there to say, yep. Yep. Friend zone does not exist. And when men use it, that is what they're implying. So I'm excited to hear how you're going to explain this in any other way, because that's literally the definition.
And these are people who just don't understand what the term friend zone was supposed to mean. So again, I'll woman-splain. Yes, there are some men who honestly believe that if they insert enough friendship coins into a woman, they are eventually entitled a girlfriend. Those are called nice guys, but it is not the same as being friend-zoned. Getting friend-zoned is when a woman is not interested in a guy or attracted to a guy, but she leads him on to believe that she is, so that she can attempt to manipulate as much as she possibly can out of him. She will use these men for emotional labor to validate the shit out of her whenever she's dealing with an a-hole guy, but then disappear on him entirely when that a-hole guy starts talking to her again. She keeps saying she's not ready to date you, but then guilt trips the hell out of you if you even so much as start talking to another girl. Being friend-zoned is when someone puts you into an emotional freezer bag and stuffs you into the way back of the freezer, thinking they can just take you out to thaw and have no other existence anytime they need you. A lot of men who have been friend-zoned have straight up told the girl, please tell me if you don't like me so I can move on. And they get these BS answers like, no, I do like you, I'm just not ready right now. Trust me, the friend zone is very painfully real. And if you have no idea what it's like, Go take a victory lap. Enjoy. Good job.
I have many thoughts. So for one, that's not what friendship is, right? So I don't know why it would be called the friend zone, because if your friendship is based purely off of I will talk to you when I need emotional labor and then neglect you entirely when I'm in a relationship and then come back once I break up, that's not what a friendship is. That's not what a friendship is. So I feel like friend zone is not the correct way to describe that. And that is why, you know, when we talk about the friend zone, it's kind of saying like, if I'm not interested in you romantically and just want to be your friend, then we have a friendship. And I think that friendship should be valued. Friendship deserves more value than it has. Sometimes you aren't romantically or sexually interested in someone, and you should value that relationship that you have without that. Platonic relationships are incredibly important. I would say more important than romantic and sexual relationships, to be honest. And I think that you should value that friendship. And if that is not what you are interested in, and you do not want to be someone's friend because you want to date them and like you are only friends with them in hopes of waiting for them to then look at you differently one day, then that's a problem. It is okay to be attracted to your friend and like maybe desire a romantic relationship. But once you've been turned down, then like that can go to not being at the forefront of your relationship. You know what I mean? You can be attracted to someone and still be their friend. And I think that in saying like this whole thing being like they're put on the back burner and used for emotional labor, and then as soon as she's talking to some asshole guy, she'll disappear, and then when they start talking again, she'll come back and be like, no, I do like you, I'm just not ready. I struggle to feel much sympathy for these men because like they're choosing to be here. You know what I mean? Like, she has made it apparent time and time over that she is not going to date you. You are viewing her through this lens of like, oh, I want to get with her, so I'm going to stay here and deal with this bullshit until one day she'll date me. You're sitting on a waiting list. It's not the friend zone. You aren't her friend. You are sitting on a waiting list to date her and having your hopes up about dating her. Is it cool of someone to be treating you like that? No. Obviously, it's not like a nice thing to be doing if that is something that is happening and you are being neglected and ignored and being made like told that you're a friend and not being treated like a friend. That sucks, and I'm sorry. The solution here is to walk away. Walk away. If you are able to say, tell me you're not interested and I'll leave, but then when she shows you she's not interested, you don't leave, I'm confused. If she has proven time and time over that she is not interested in you based on her actions, you shouldn't need the words in order to solidify that. Walk away. Go find someone who is actually interested in you. The problem with the term friend zone is that it's typically, you know, you're complaining about being friends with someone. This is not what a friend is. Therefore, it is not the friend zone.
This says POV, your husband makes hot cocoa. Nothing else, just hot cocoa. Oh my God. It just keeps going. Caption reads, 3 pots. 3 pots. #husband. So this actually has nothing to do with gender and everything to do with the 2 kinds of cooks. You either clean as you go or you don't. My husband is the primary cook of our family, and when I showed him this video, he said, that's how you make hot cocoa. I am the clean as you go cook. I am also not the better cook. My husband may leave the kitchen looking like a cocaine bear just tore through, but that food is gonna slap so hard. It's like when you go to get your car fixed and the mechanic only has like 3 or 4 teeth left and you're like, I'm in good hands. But also, what are the odds she asked for hot cocoa? Because girlfriend, you know these golden retriever ass boyfriends are like the if you give a mouse a cookie book, but with tasks. You ask him to check your tire pressure, all of a sudden he's installing a whole new serpentine belt. You tell him to let the dog in, and all of a sudden he's out there building an entire fence out of pallet boards. Look, bro's an overachiever with the chalky milk. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Enjoy your beige flag and your beige kitchen.
I am just really confused as to what all of this was necessary for. I'm like so baffled by this. To make hot chocolate, 3 pots, a mug, a spatula. There's like a milk bottle with a funnel on it, and the funnel is like a cut in half bottle. I'm just confused. I have so many questions about what all of these things are for. And here's the thing, right? Is that like, I don't know the full scope of the situation. Maybe he does intend to clean up afterwards, but clearly he didn't clean it up. Clearly she came into the kitchen and it wasn't cleaned up. Maybe it was straight after it being made and she's having a good laugh about it. Maybe it's not like weaponized incompetence. There is a chance that it is. There is a chance that it's she asked for hot chocolate and he's like, okay, let me make as much mess as possible so she'll never ask me to make her a hot chocolate ever again. We don't have the context. But in general, it feels like a deliberate mess being made because I'm so confused as to what any of this is for. Making a hot chocolate requires like 2 things. You microwave the milk and you add a spoonful of chocolate powder. Then you have a hot chocolate. Or like I have a like coffee machine with like a milk frother. I will make the chocolate paste. I'll like melt the chocolate. I'll put milk into the steaming jug, steam the milk, pour it in the mug. I have 1 dish. 2. I have a teaspoon and the milk jug and then my mug. If you want to make it in a pot, you boil milk and you add chocolate powder. Or you can add pieces of chocolate. What do you need all of this for? What is the funnel for? I'm so baffled by everything that is required here that I like can't make it into anything other than like deliberately trying to make a mess. Because how did we get here? How did we get here other than to make it as complicated as you can for yourself and to leave a big mess behind? What is going on? This is going to be such a bitch to clean up. And speaking of nightmare cleaning, I would like to divert your attention away to a way to make cleaning, specifically your face, an easier task for you. And that is with today's sponsor, Geology. Geology is a 41-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company, and like for absolute good reason as well. I have been working with Geology for coming up 3 years now, and you all know how much I adore them. I have always had sensitive skin. I've always struggled to find skincare that works for me and doesn't actually make my skin worse. And Geology is the first thing I found that like actually is good for my skin and treats me nicely. I struggled really bad with acne a couple years ago and nothing I was doing was getting rid of it. But after all of this time of using Geology, my skin has never looked better. And it is so easy to use. You just fill in a little skin survey and say what you are looking for, and it will give you something that is perfect for you and your needs. Each kit comes with a face wash to use morning and night, a moisturizer with an SPF to use in the morning, an eye cream to use at night, which helps with dark spots under your eyes, which is great if you're like me and you don't get very much sleep. And my favorite thing ever, which is their retinol night cream. This is genuinely my favorite skincare product like ever. It is so hydrating. It is so like velvety smooth, and it just feels so, I love putting it on my face. It feels so nice. And then my other favorite product that they do, which is an add-on, is this vitamin C and E serum, which helps like brighten the skin and also targets like texture and scarring. And it has genuinely made such a massive impact on my skin. Incorporating this into my skincare every morning has been such an excellent decision. I adore it. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I genuinely love Geology so much. Like, I tell all my friends and family to use it. Like, literally ask anyone in my life and they will tell you that I never shut up about Geology. If they're here while I'm doing my skincare, I will go up to them and be like, you have to get this. And if you would like to try Geology, then you can use the link in the description or the QR code on the screen right now with the code KIWI70, and you will get 70% off your first trial kit, as well as any extra product up to 50% off, which is such an incredible deal. Thank you so much, Geology, for sponsoring today's video. And let's get back into some Dadvocate.
We talk a lot about how guys don't pick up on hints, and that's absolutely true, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. A lot of them absolutely do. You'll just never know because it has the same result anyway. Because even if a guy does pick up on your subtle hint, even if he has not only picked up on it, but has analyzed it from 1,000 different angles, has seen 3,000 different doghouses from this hint, he's still not gonna do anything about it. Even if he gets it, he is going to pretend that he has no idea what you're hinting at. Why? Because he is not going to reward this behavior. Because he might get it this time, but if he lets you know that, he is screwing over his future self that is not getting the future hints because you're going to come to expect it. He can't let you think hints work because he relies on proper communication skills to keep the whole relationship afloat. If you can't put in the effort to turn your hint into respectable verbal communication, he's not going to put in 3 times that effort trying to unscramble your unnecessary puzzle. So you have 2 options. Either keep dropping hints and enter a psychological stalemate, or use your words and build a healthy relationship. Choice is yours.
This bothers me a lot because yes, communication is obviously important, but like body language and facial expressions and things like that is also a form of communication. I think a part of relationships is obviously getting to know each other really well so you can get hints from one another. Like that's an important part of any relationship. You should be able to pick up on things that I'm hinting at. You should have a somewhat like general understanding of what I'm thinking and what I'm wanting. Like you shouldn't always have to explicitly say what you want. If you are picking up on what I am hinting, then I have effectively communicated with you because you understand those subtle hints well enough. You know, like that has been established because we know each other. Communicating and using your words is important. Absolutely. But I think that like completely just being like dropping hints isn't okay and he's never going to act on it even if he understands it is also really fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I think that using body language and things is like a very valid way to communicate a point. And I think that like in a lot of these instances that men complain about not being asked to do something and like, what are we meant to do? Like read your mind. It's for really simple shit in which you shouldn't have to be asked. If the rubbish bin is full and needs taking out and like you've promised you were gonna do it, and so I make a point to like bring attention to the fact the rubbish bin is full, then I don't want to have to ask you because I don't feel like I should have to ask you. You should just know. Like some things really should not have to be communicated. You should just do things. And like if you aren't sure at what she's hinting at, then you can ask. You are also capable of using your words. You don't have to enter a psychological stalemate just because you are waiting and expecting for her to communicate because you aren't picking up on her hints. You can ask, what do you want me to do? What is bothering you right now? What is, like, you are also capable of using your words, and being petty and going into a psychological stalemate because of it is not entirely on her. I think that, like, yes, sometimes dropping hints is unhelpful and sometimes absolutely communication is necessary. But I also think that sometimes dropping hints is a valid way of communication because you, at a certain point in your relationship, should have an understanding of each other as to what you want and need without having to explicitly state it. The thing that really bothers me about this video, though, is that she has a bunch of videos that are like this.
Men say so much with their faces. Here are a few of them and what they mean.
And she's pulling facial expressions with the text on screen that says, "Don't do that. You're really doing that. Actually, not bad. That was wildly inappropriate, but I don't feel comfortable enough to say anything beyond this expression. I tried to warn you. I'm slowly spilling into the crippling loneliness of a lifetime of being misunderstood, abandoned, and forgotten, and I near an end of collapsing into myself like a dying star." Obviously, that last one's a bit of a joke, but, like, this bothers me so much because you cannot... These were posted one after another, too. by the way. You cannot sit here and make a whole video about how women need to communicate exactly what they're feeling all of the time, and that body language and facial expressions and anything like that, that's not enough. You have to use your words to communicate exactly what you're thinking all the time, or men just aren't going to understand. But then going and immediately being like, but men don't have to. You have to read a man's face. That's okay. That's fine. Men aren't going to communicate like you have to. You have to be able to read them. They don't have to be able to read you. I hope that by learning these facial expressions, you know how to properly respond to them and exactly what they're saying, and you can like handle that accordingly. You're welcome for me helping you so men don't have to speak and you just know exactly what they're thinking. Meanwhile, being like, women, you have to use your words all the time. Men aren't going to respect you or even attempt to understand you unless you are being explicitly obvious and using your words 100% of the time. That's so hypocritical. That's so hypocritical, because this is you like acknowledging that facial expressions are a valid form of communication. So why is it that men are allowed to do that to communicate, but women aren't? Why is it like women's fault for not understanding what men are expressing with their faces, but it's also women's fault when men refuse to understand what we're expressing?
When your husband has been up your butt all day.
What are you doing?
Why are you following me?
What do you mean?
Why are you up here?
I'm not following you.
You're literally following me. Why
It was
did you...
quiet. I figured I'd come up, see what's going on.
All day you've been following me. I don't think you've noticed you've been doing it all day. I just want a minute to myself, okay?
I only need a minute.
Honey, is that why I came up here? Because I was doing things.
I came up here to hide from the kids.
I can woman-splain this. He's not following you around, he's just making his rounds. It's called a perimeter sweep, and it's pretty much caked into the Y chromosome. Like, come on, you guys are the ones who say men are dogs, and then you can't understand why he has to do a quick little peeky peek into every room and check on every single person every 30 to 45 minutes. But most importantly, I want to address what he says here.
I only need a minute.
When he says, I only need a minute, he genuinely means that. The long-term wives know, especially the ones with the golden retriever husbands, when they come making their little rounds, all they need is a quick little kiss or a quick little nuzzle, and then they're off again. And finally, he's up your butt all day when he's finally home, because he's never home. Guys are always at work. In fact, the only thing that keeps them alive at work is the thought of coming home and being up your butt. I could have phrased that better. He feels like you're his safe space, and his safe space is running away from him. Yes, couples do need time away from each other, but he just wants to check in on you. If you can't be interrupted for an hour, just tell him. If you just can't be interrupted, don't get married.
This irks me. This irks me a lot. Firstly, I love conveniently leaving out the part where he says he came up there to hide from the kids.
I came up here to hide from the kids.
Like, you just conveniently left that out of your whole conversation. Like, you could have cut that out of the original video. No one would have been the wiser. But you and everyone in the comments just completely ignored the fact that he straight up is like, I came here to hide from the kids. Like, he didn't come here to get a quick hug from his wife and then go back to his responsibility watching the kids. He came up there because he doesn't want the responsibility of watching the kids. He's been following his wife around all day because he doesn't want the responsibility of watching the kids. He doesn't want to be left alone with them. So he's clinging to her, being like, I don't want this. This is your responsibility. I don't really want to do that. And she leaves for 5 minutes to have some space, and he follows her because he wants to hide from the kids. He doesn't want to look after the kids. He's gone to see what's happening because she's disappeared. Why is she disappeared? She's meant to be watching the kids. Take a hint, like, again, if your wife leaves the room and you are with the kids, the correct response would be to watch the kids. Like, you can clearly, surely understand that she's stepped away because she needs a break for a minute. She shouldn't have to explicitly say that. Like, if it was reverse, right? Let's think about this for a moment, okay? If they were together in the room watching the kids and he stood up and left for 5 minutes, do you think she's going to immediately get up and go follow him and be like, where did you go? I'm here hiding from the kids because you aren't here. Like, no. No. Because it's expected for men to get up and just leave their wife alone with responsibilities. But women aren't allowed to do the same without men being like, why didn't you tell me you just needed space? You should be able to understand that based on the circumstances. It should not have to be communicated to you. You should just take on the responsibility for a minute and then you can go check on her soon. What if she just needed to go to the bathroom? Like, you'll be fine looking after the kids for a little bit. If after like 15 minutes she's not back and maybe you're like, oh, this is unlike her to disappear for this long, I'll go check on her. That's one thing. Immediately following her out of the room after a minute to be like, I don't want to be with the kids by myself. No. Like, that's not the same thing. Saying he's just making the rounds. He's a golden retriever. He follows you around. He just wants a little hug and a little I don't care. Firstly, why are you treating him like a dog? That is a grown adult man, all right? He doesn't need to be making the rounds and doing a perimeter. Like, he should be watching his kids right now, because he implied that is what he is meant to be doing right now. And like, men are up your butt when they come home because they work all day and they're never home. Women also work. You're making the assumption that she doesn't also work. Hello? I'm sorry. It's so frustrating. I don't understand the defense of this man here. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. Is it a good thing to be doing? Also no. Respect your partner and their like very apparent needs and what they desire in that moment. You know, take on some responsibility. You shouldn't have to be asked to do things that women are expected to do.
I think I might be the red flag and I didn't even know this. Multiple sources now have confirmed this. I've been doing beauty for 15 years, right? Now, when I tell men what I do for work, multiple sources have been like, that's a red flag. What?
Very simply, beauty to men is like video games to women, and people are very judgmental of things they don't understand. So just like a woman might look at a guy who plays video games and think, oh great, he's lazy, he lacks motivation, he wastes his time with pointless things. A guy might look at a woman who prioritizes beauty and think, great, she's vain, she spends too much money, she wastes her time on pointless things. So just like a woman who doesn't play video games might not understand the social emotional advantages of team gaming, or the literary satisfaction of a good story arc, or even just the endorphin rush of a really good match, a lot of guys don't understand how much practical science goes into beauty. Not a lot of guys realize that our average everyday skincare routine involves us studying the microbes within our skin's ecosystem and then elaborately introducing new strains of skin native microbes just to combat acne. It's not that guys have a zero tolerance policy for women in the beauty industry, just like most women don't have a zero tolerance policy for guys who play video games. It's only when it's your #1 priority that it becomes a red flag. But I think we can all agree that people who put either beauty or video games above everything else in their life kind of deserve to be ghosted.
How is this even remotely comparable on any level? Literally nothing about either of these things are comparable at all. Firstly being like, it's like women with video games. Do you know how many women play video games? Literally, the amount of women who play video games and the amount of men who play video games is the same. So that's a wild statement to make. Secondly, this is her job. This is her actual career. You just sat here and said, men view beauty as how women view video games, something that you invest way too much time and money into for no reason at all. It's her literal job. She isn't investing pointless time and money into it. That's her career. It's literally what she gets paid to do. This isn't her being lazy and spending her time doing something that could be more productive. It is her career. She's not even spending money on it. She is making money off of it. Men view it as like, why are you getting all this like beauty care stuff when you could be out like working? The way that women say men should be doing that when they're doing, it's her fucking job, man. How are you comparing a hobby to a job? And even if it wasn't, right? Even if it was not her job, even if, let's say, she's just someone who gets like Botox and lip fillers and has like a big skincare routine and does makeup or whatever. Like, even let's just say it's just something that she does spend time and money on. They're still not comparable because the beauty industry is based upon a societal standard that has been set for us. Video games are a fun hobby. Video games are something that people participate in for fun and because it's something that they enjoy and they want to spend time doing. Beauty is something that we have been told makes us valuable. We have been sold the beauty industry our entire lives. It profits off of our insecurity, and we are told that we have to participate in that. That is not even remotely the same thing as a fucking hobby. There is no social expectation for men to be good at video games. That is something they choose to do because they enjoy it. No one is forcing them to play video games and saying, you aren't a real man and no one will love you if you don't get top scores in this game. That's not a thing happening. That is a thing happening with women in beauty though. How are you sitting here and comparing these two things? That's absurd. And then, sorry, the added thing in the middle of being like, women don't understand the like thrill of like a good storyline. I'm sorry. Women don't understand and appreciate a good storyline. We're just illiterate now. We don't know how to understand media. We don't like books or movies or any media that has a good storyline. We don't understand that. Why would we get pleasure out of a good storyline of any sort? What are you fucking talking about? Literally every single thing you said in this video was incorrect and pissed me the fuck off. Be so for real.
I have an actual genuine question, but when I look like this, I mean, I have a hat on, I just have my hair like in a ponytail, I have a baggy t-shirt on, I get so much attention from guys and I get approached all the time. When I'm all dressed up, out with my girls, I get looks that no guys ever talk to me. What is up with that?
Yes, I can womansplain this. So they've actually done studies on the conditions under which men are most likely to approach women and the conditions under which they are not. And as you just described, the three most common scenarios in which a man will not approach a woman are if she is dolled up to the nines, if she is surrounded by friends or a group of women, or in an environment that is really loud. So it's kind of funny that women spend so much time getting all dressed up to go out to clubs to try and meet guys when they're statistically more likely to be approached wearing no makeup and an oversized t-shirt, desperately trying to reach something at the grocery store. And you're not gonna like the answer here, but men approach you at your most casual because to them, that's when you're at your best. That's when you're not trying to impress anybody or be anything you're not. That's when you're not hiding behind something or playing some kind of character. Because most men just hate keeping up with the Joneses or trying to compete with something superficial that's fighting for your attention. They like you when you're at your most natural because that's when you are actually you. It's probably easy to forget, but us women aren't the only ones getting played out here, and you can catfish a lot more than just your physical appearance. Fact of the matter is, there is so much risk to approaching a woman, they're only gonna do it if it seems real.
What I gathered from this is that men like approaching women when we are at our most vulnerable and we aren't anticipating it. You will not approach me when I am actively expecting being approached. When I have gotten myself ready and going into an environment where I'm like, okay, men might hit on me. This is something that I am either actively looking for or actively prepared for. Then men will keep away because I have friends with me, because I'm not alone, because I'm in a situation where there are other people around. But as soon as I am not prepared for that, and I am just living my life casually, not inviting anyone to talk to me, not wanting anyone to talk to me, that's when men will approach me. When I have no backup, when I'm completely caught unaware, and when I'm at my most vulnerable. That is not a positive to me. You know what I mean? Like, being in a grocery shop is kind of like low-key the last place I am anticipating being approached or wanting to be approached. I understand sometimes that can be like sort of a cute thing or whatever, and you can meet people in that way. I do think intention is very important, and I think like striking up a casual conversation with someone in like a casual setting is like one thing, but going and directly hitting on someone in a casual situation is a completely different thing. Like, the amount of times I have had men just come up to me and immediately be like, hey, what's your Instagram? Can I have your number? I'm like, fucking what the fuck? Stop. Leave me alone. This is not what I'm here for. You know, like, it's weird to me that it's not just your most casual, it is also your most vulnerable. And I think that in itself is a problem. And also being like, when you're dolled up to the nines, you're not being yourself. They're competing with something superficial. No, I'm still myself. Like, right now, right? I'm wearing a full face of makeup. But like, this is an expression of myself. It is just a different side of myself. I don't disappear when I do my makeup. I'm not like a different person. It's just a different side of myself. And it is a side where I'm feeling possibly like more confident, where I am more open and willing to have conversation because I am anticipating it and I am prepared for it. I understand wanting vulnerability from someone, but that is not something that you necessarily deserve on the first time you meet someone.
Here's the thing about men, ladies. Every body is somebody's type. I'm serious. That's why I don't care for this high value, low value stuff, because it's all so subjective. Oh, you're insecure about your weight? I cannot unhear a man telling me you're not a lady unless you're over 280. I used to hate my nose until I had a few guys tell me that aquiline noses are their favorite, and I'd never even heard it sound so pretty before. For some guys, they recognize romance as your love language. Some guys recognize sarcasm and roasting as your love language. Even materialistic girls. Some guys prefer the exotic types because they're sick of basic bitches who order mac and cheese at 5-star restaurants. It's me, I'm bitches. You are for sure not going to be everybody's type, but as long as you got a good heart, you are somebody's type. Go where you're wanted. It feels way better that way.
I understand the perspective, and I don't think that she's wrong. I just think that we shouldn't be valuing ourselves off of what men think of us. I think that if you hated your nose until men told you that you had a nice nose, I think that you are undervaluing yourself, and I think that you need to do that work for yourself and not just off of what other people find attractive. You shouldn't be basing your worth off of how attractive you are to other people. And I think that there's like this whole issue of like, it puts way too much pressure on a person. If your body looks a specific way and maybe you're insecure about it, and then you find a partner who loves your body for the way that it is, and they make it known that that's what they love about you, and they tell you over and over, I love your body. I love your body the way it is. Like, then you start becoming afraid of it changing because you yourself are not comfortable with the way you look and the way your body is. You are just comfortable because someone else told you they like it. And then there's a pressure for it to stay exactly the same. And bodies don't work that way. The way we look changes. We gain weight, we lose weight, we gain muscle definition, we lose muscle definition. Like the way we look is ever changing. The way our body looks and moves, etc., is ever changing. And you can't determine your own self-worth based off of someone else's opinion of you. You can't value yourself because your partner loves the specific thing about you, because if you break up, are you then going to fall into needing to change to fit back into society standard? Like, I have had a lot of trouble with my body, right? I've struggled with eating disorders for over a decade. It's something that I've like been in active recovery for the past 6 years, I think, but have had like moments where I'll like relapse or when I struggle. And a lot of that comes down to I spent a long time only liking my body when someone else told me that they liked it. In times where I have been single, I have like forced myself into these mindsets of having to then fit the societal beauty standard in order to appeal to a larger amount of people, because I value my body based off of how other people value my body. And I would like to think that I am past that now. I've worked through that, and I'm like, you know, I'm 25. I'm in a happy relationship. I would like to say that I've moved past that and I don't care anymore about society's beauty standards, and I love my body for what it is and because I love it. But I don't know if that's 100% true. I've had to do a lot of work to get just this far. And I just think that it's really important to mention that. Like, yes, no matter what you look like, you are going to be beautiful to someone and unattractive to someone else. Everyone has a different idea of what beauty is, but so do you. And you are in control of what that looks like to you. You don't have to change the way you look to fit your own standards of beauty. You can change your own standards of beauty to fit what you look like. That's more how it works. And it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of effort, but that is an important part of learning to love yourself, is understanding and realizing that you control your own perception of beauty. And that shouldn't rely on other people. You should not value yourself based off of how other people perceive you, because that is not ever going to work out in your favor in the end. Like, maybe it'll help you move into becoming more accepting, but you cannot center that self-acceptance off of that. Like, if you are basing your worth off of how attractive you are to men, you are still giving into the patriarchy. You know, that is still a beauty standard that is set by someone else and not by yourself. You need to come to terms with yourself and what you look like and your body and your flaws and everything on your own terms and not based off of what other people are telling you. So yeah, she's not necessarily wrong, but we shouldn't be basing our own value and beauty off of how men view us. The Dadvocate is such an interesting person, and I know that a lot of you watch her content and like maybe you won't agree with some of the takes that I've had today. Maybe I overread things. A lot of people tell me that I overread things, but I think ultimately my points all do still stand. And like, sure, sometimes she makes some content that, you know, is fine, and sometimes men do deserve to be stood up for, but I think we can do that without blaming women. We can have like a proper conversation without being misogynistic and like patronizing men and literally treating them like dogs, you know? Yeah, so please do let me know your thoughts on the Dadvocate and everything that we've talked about today, because I am curious to hear. A massive thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Stella, Trippy Day 27, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic PT, LJ James D, MA Ping the Games, Blaze, Uh-Oh It's Craiglow, Phil the Duck, Jesse A, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the link in the description. For only £1 a month, you get my videos 1 to 5 days early and with no ads for those days. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.
When you close your eyes, you replace